that particular matter. By the way, the Nkoni is not supposed to end up on the cows. It's for a very different kind of ball game. But as well, we'll also have some time for human trafficking, and that has become another major issue that makes for the headlines. It is NBS Live at 9. The boardroom politics of government institutions.
When people get government jobs, it is like they have gotten retirement.
What explains the persistent audit gaps?
Do we have a problem with recruiting competent people?
Government needs to focus on generating a performance target.
9 convicted over the murder of Susan Magara.
What the evidence that we delivered through the 43 witnesses.
Court to decide their fate tomorrow.
Not allow this. It hasn't happened.
Dr. Kiza Besigye remains in a frail condition at Mulago Hospital, unable to speak or write.
I found him lying there asleep.
The pain of Uganda's electricity. Over 400,000 Ugandans who paid for new electricity meters are not yet connected.
And the people don't even know they turn agent.
Ghost beneficiaries in the cattle compensation program.
2, 3, multiple people were benefiting.
Who should be held accountable?
We saw so many irregularities.
EC unveils roadmap for the Adjumani West constituency by-elections.
Comply with the laws and the guidelines as issued.
Setting September 17th, 2026 as the polling day.
For us, we shall only wait for the flag bearers.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Samson Kasumba.
Let's get into the news, and we begin with legislators on Parliament's Public Accounts Committee that have raised concerns over more than 400,000 Ugandans who paid for new electricity meters to either UMEME or Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. But these that paid remain without connections years later. The members of Parliament also decried delays in providing transformers to villages, with some communities having waited for 3 years without a response. It does come despite government injecting shillings 500 billion, you heard it right, 500 billion into Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited to stabilize its operations and improve service delivery. Let's begin right there.
To enable the committee appreciate.
For the third consecutive time, officials from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, led by Permanent Secretary Engineer Irene Batewe, appeared before Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, chaired by Kasanda North MP Patrick Nsamba Oshabe, to account for funds received in the financial year 2024-2025.
When you inherited the UMEME, yes, things are worse.
It was during this engagement the legislators tasked the ministry over the continued electricity blackouts across the country, which they said had paralyzed business and disrupted service delivery.
Power goes off a full day, 2 days, and you have nowhere to report. You go to their local office, the manager will run out from your hide, you're left with the secretary, who does not know where to begin from.
Where is that?
Kasese.
Where is the problem? They were catching up with all the growth that you are talking about, and there was no load shedding. Where is the load shedding coming when you are taking over?
Whenever they are upgrading lines, especially transmission lines, the customers suffer repeated outages, but these are for a short time and are temporary, and like the PS said, they'll end at on 8th.
You inherited the UMEME infrastructure. You've received over 500 billion in loans to improve. Ugandans are not seeing the progress.
The committee also faulted ministry officials over more than 400,000 Ugandans who paid for new electricity meters to either UMEME or UEDCL but remain without connections years later.
You never connected them. Now you have a project giving free connections.
Somebody can go to court. I speak for the people. If I have my priorities and right now all I want is to get connected, you cannot force me on units.
So right now, the people who paid
are few.
No, the ones who are paid under EASP, that's the 23.
I don't care whether they
under
paid
scale
under
up,
where,
20.
but they paid the money.
Yes.
Could we please know where you're starting from for us to have hope maybe that you're coming?
All these customers are in the system. So even as meters come in, we are going to go back for all the customers who are ready to connect. Yeah. Our biggest challenge has been making sure we get the meters in.
According to the officials, out of the 400,000 customers without meters, 120,000 had applied before Umeme handed over operations to UEDCL. The Public Accounts Committee will resume the engagement on Tuesday, this time with officials from the defunct Umeme, as Parliament continues to scrutinise the energy sector.
Away from that bit of investigations into a very different nature of investigations. And here, it is the former investigators into government agencies and parastatals saying systematic corruption, weak accountability systems and incompetent human resource management are behind recurring probes by Parliament's accountability committees. These warn that compromised systems within government institutions are affecting service delivery and threatening Uganda's ambition of becoming a modern and prosperous country and a Vision 2040.
Several ministries, departments, agencies and statutory bodies have recently appeared before Parliament's accountability committees to respond to audit queries raised by the Auditor General. Among them is the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, where administrative gaps were raised over delayed certification of locally manufactured products. The Uganda Human Rights Commission was questioned over delayed investigations into rights violations, while Uganda Railways Corporations faced scrutiny over allegations of corruption and mismanagement.
Billions of money, of taxpayers' money.
But how do such failures go unnoticed within the boardrooms of these institutions? Former investigators and lawmakers blame the weak internal systems, poor supervision and incompetent personnel for allowing gaps to persist until they are exposed through external audits. Former Public Accounts Committee Chairperson Ojara Mapenduzi and Shadow Minister for Local Government Patrick Okello says some public institutions lack effective performance management systems.
There was a time the government came up with the idea that all civil servants must have set performance standard, below which you are terminated. So we don't have anything to compete against.
Our government system takes too long to deliver, okay? Even at ministry level, you find letters are written from districts to the ministry. It will take over a month for responses to, sometimes even over a year. So there is need to deal with that laxity.
During the 2021-2026 parliamentary term, dozens of public officials were referred to investigative agencies, including the Uganda Police and the Inspectorate of Government, over allegations of abuse of office, causing financial loss, fraud and embezzlement. Mapenduzi says some corruption cases are linked to systemic weakness within the government structures.
For example, now we have Ministers of Work taking charge of all the projects. We should be seeing engineers from Ministers of Work designing the work. We should be seeing them supervising the work. Of course, construction, they can get construction companies. But design, do you have to hire consultants when you have very highly qualified engineers? So there is a lot of, we need to deal with our own systems.
Economist Francis Muhire says the challenge is one of governance that could undermine Uganda's economic growth ambitions.
The economic impact is high, that you're going to suffocate and demoralize the local industrialists. Yeah, you're talking about loss of jobs. No one is going to set up, a factory, when they know they are going to be having issues.
Over to public entities, including the Office of the Auditor General and the Inspectorate of Government and Parliament, that have for some time, invested in investigations including accountability. But, and here's the but, while reports made, several often go unnoticed or just remain a talk in the public domain without any actions taken from government, raising questions on matters, cost of the work that is never considered to be correct mistakes. Political actors argue that it remains a question of political will, warning that unless it is resolved, the reports will continue to remain just a mere record.
A 2021 report of the Auditor General revealed an operation scandal in Uganda Airlines questions that the Parliament's Committee on Kosase probed further, only for its report to be blocked from Parliament. Years later, the board and the CEO were disbanded. This raises questions on what exactly fails the recommendations of the investigative entities, yet sums of money continue to be spent. Wasole is a former deputy IGG who says the challenge lies in the will of those in power to act on critical investigations.
Just purely the political will. Issues have come out, big scandals have come out, and nothing has happened. I mean, the public is, after a while, will begin to ask questions.
Some members of parliament say while they continue to invest time in the evaluations of the public finances utilization, they remain disturbed that revelations are made but to no attraction to the executive, leaving no action on the table. They say even when memorandums are expected, several details go unreported out.
What can we do? How far can our powers go as Parliament? What then do we need to do as Parliament in case the executive does not act on our recommendations? We've seen several accounting officers. There is a PS who was implicated in matters to do with cooperatives. After Parliament passing the report, nothing was done.
Through the Treasury memorandum, to know how many reports have been produced by the relevant committees and what has Parliament acted on them.
Wasole states that the government has turned the mode into exciting public acting, sharing rather than settling the accountability questions. They say that until the executive takes interest in recommendations by the investigating entities, the public remain excited and move on to the next scandal. Legislators propose ways the government can be able to cause changes.
Evidence does not stand up beyond that, or no action is taken, then it will be just a question of raising dust, and when after the dust settles, the public will be asking, what was it all about?
I've had listened to the Minister of Finance, the Minister, say that he's going to ensure that actually those recommendations are taken care of. And I think what also makes the requirement that as it comes for the next financial year must have
it, however, remains clear whether the state is intentional while disbursing funds for entities to investigate, or the intention is to keep records until there is interest.
For context, in order to understand this a little further, if we may, let's bring in former legislator Geoffrey Kanya on the implications of unending boardroom politics of service delivery. He speaks to us out of the expensive place of Buziga. Honourable, I wonder if somebody is a leader of a parastatal, why would he or she be worried of a probe by Parliament's Accountability Committee? And here is why. Parliament after parliament, year in after year, it is probe after probe. We find the same thing, but nothing ever changes. Where's the disconnect?
Yeah, Samson, the challenge we have, Uganda is one of the countries with the best laws regarding corruption, accountability, and so forth. But the problem we have leading to poor performance of the executive directors and the boards is bigger than lack of systems. We have one-party state. So the party in power is not threatened by the action of the board members and executive directors they appoint if they don't perform. Under the Public Finance Management Act, the Constitution of Uganda, all accounting officers are appointed and they assign performance targets, which are reviewed annually. And when the Minister of Finance presents budget to Parliament, every financial year, accounting officers get reappointment. And the reappointment are supposed to be based on performance target, achieving target. But year in, year out, the same accounting officers are appointed. The EDs and chief executive or parastatals are supposed to, all of them have contracts. They have boards. Now, the boards have become so weak that they can't supervise the executive directors. Some of the board members engage in procurement activities and that is corruption. Now, Parliament has also been weakened. When we enact laws establishing some of these parastatals authorities, we leave a room in terms of delegated legislation. The regulation to determine term limit for some of the executive directors are designed by the same official and not tabled before Parliament. So you find executive directors serving beyond the mandatory term. And now, this whole systematic problem is as a result of weak governance and bigger one-state system. If we had a government in power that feels threatened to lose because of corruption, you would have people being committed and EDs would be fired, boards that don't perform would be removed. Ugandans have leaders who are clean and who can lead. Like National Security Fund, if you have a strong executive director, the ED will then supervise and work with the Minister of Finance, and you can see National Security Fund is performing very well. In the past, about 10 years ago, the board members wanted to push the executive director to issues that are outside the regulations. But the ED stood their ground, and at the end of the day, National Security Fund has approved. But you have certain parastatals where the EDs are serving beyond, there is corruption. The ministers who are supposed to supervise these executive directors don't do so. Why? They appoint their relatives in the board, they appoint their relatives and their cronies as executive director.
Let me interject here and ask. Let me ask here. Let me ask here. Aren't we in a situation where, Honorable, aren't we in a situation where you have a district inspector of schools who has no power over the headmaster they are supposed to have power over? Because then, as a taxpayer, what do I gain from a Parliament Accountability Committee that is toothless and poisonless, and yet it continues to posture as if it has some power?
No, the point is the district inspectors of schools have power. It is corruption at its base. You find that some district inspectors of schools get kickbacks from the head teacher, so they cannot discipline the same head teacher. And because of the pay of the district inspectors of schools and the cost of living, you find that the sub-county security officials, they all receive kickbacks from the same head teacher. So at the end of the day, they cannot report that this head teacher is not performing. You find that the office of the IGG, some of them, when they are being sent to the field, they have to pay fees for their children in universities. They need to access good health service. The pay that they get is not adequate. So for us to address these bigger issues, then we can talk about having Public Account Committee, having the laws in place. We need to sort out the bigger question of governance. If we are in a structure like Kenya, where KANU, ODM would feel that if we allow corruption, the public would vote us out of power, then the government in power would be very strong, take action. And that's why in Kenya you see year in, year out, new faces come on board. But in Uganda, because people belong to the NRM, they're related to the minister, they have to fund the system. Last week, I'm told the Honorable Balam was in Masaka. He had arrested somebody, but received a call. He was told, that is one of our allies. They funded the struggle. So you find that politics weaken the institution. Public Account Committee, when I was chairperson of government account, Honorable Nandal Nathan was the chairperson PAC. We called arrest and recovery of billions of funds because we did not belong to the state. We did not need favor from the state in order to deliver firm and strong ruling. And by then, we had parliament of about 300 MPs. The opposition MPs were about 150. The NRM government was about 200. Therefore, the government feared that if they did not take action on Public Account Committee report, then the opposition ground was gaining and they were threatened. But as we talk now today, you find that the position has been weakened, and therefore corruption thrives. and then Ugandans lose more. I can tell you the situation is so bad, we are only surviving because of the good media and the civil society. You have institutions that are supposed to inspect the drugs, inspect the food we eat, to make sure we don't eat toxic food. They have become so weak that corruption thrives and inspections are weak. And therefore, all Ugandans are...
Sure, the Honorable Geoffrey Ekanya there. Thank you a bunch for your thoughts right there. Now let's get into our lead story. I don't know about you. Do you fear ghosts? Well, they are here. Ghost beneficiary relatives and click registration has marred the cattle compensation in Acholi sub-region, with local leaders questioning the implementation and registration process thereof. And police analysts calling for a review of the entire payment process. The members of parliament from the region also want a government audit per recipient and district for the money paid by the government. Ghosts are here.
The people don't even know they turn agent.
A month ago, chaos ensued at the City Council over the process of registration of the cattle compensation beneficiaries. Here, the technical team and the LC1 structure within the city threw accusation at each other.
People were unpicked, people were picking their relatives, friends, and in-laws. The guideline was household, but you realize from one household, 2, 3, multiple people were benefiting.
In my perspective, has been in beneficiary identification. We saw so many irregularities in the process, and we think that that is an area of improvement. But also, secondly, the timing of funds disbursement.
It has now emerged that in several places, authorities have filled names of relatives, friends, and some people from the same families.
Unfortunately, it came at the time of the election. Many people turned the restocking program into electioneering words.
Some people were bribed to change names of the would-be eligible beneficiaries. People who are not supposed to benefit. You find an LC1 has put the name of his daughter as a beneficiary. The guideline is very clear. We are supposed to look at the elderly. We are supposed to look at the youth.
Policy analysts say government has mismanaged the process and there's need for a review of the whole process.
Instead of giving cash to these individuals, government should have given them vouchers, cattle vouchers. You qualify, you're given a cattle voucher, there is a pre-qualified list of people who have animals, the animals will be bought locally.
Are we talking about restocking? Are we talking about compensation? Are we talking about a new government program? All these actually provided the dilemma that we are in, and we cannot now proceed very well. So we need to go back to the drawing board and do first things first. We put the cart before the horse.
Members of parliament and local leaders now want government to do an audit per district and each recipient.
They make sure your name goes in, but in return you have to give back 500,000. Others were going as far as 1 million shillings. Out of the 5 million.
Anybody who drank this money, anybody who used this money for marrying more women, we are going to arrest that person. Then, if need be, the person should sell his property and make sure he refund back the 5 million to the government of Uganda.
Acholi sub-region has 9,443 households, and in Gulu City alone, there are 640 beneficiaries in the first phase.
The Gen Zs would say that on marrying another woman, we enkomyoku together. Now let's go back to the news. The Electoral Commission has officially unveiled the roadmap for the Adjumani West constituency parliament by-election setting, September 17, 2026, as the polling date to elect the new member of parliament following the demise of retired General Moses Ali. The program was launched on Monday during a stakeholders meeting at the Adjumani district headquarters, led by the Electoral Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Mujenyi Byabakama.
The meeting brought together Electoral Commission officials, political leaders, security agencies, aspiring candidates, civil society organizations, religious leaders and members of the media to discuss preparations for the by-election for Adjumani West constituency. Justice Byabakama assured stakeholders that the Electoral Commission is fully committed to conducting free, fair and credible elections.
We want to appeal to all persons who will be participating in these by-elections to comply with the law and the guidelines as issued by the Electoral Commission.
He said the nomination of candidates is scheduled for September 7th and 8th. Campaigns will run from September 9th to the 15th, and polling for the Adjumani West parliamentary seat will take place on September 17th.
So that means on 17th of September, that's when all the polling stations in Adjumani West constituencies will be open for people to elect their next member of parliament.
During the interactive session, Adjumani district stakeholders appealed to the Electoral Commission to deploy adequate personnel across polling stations, while some of aspiring candidates urged the Commission to provide equal treatment to all contestants.
My first request is whether you will pick up the staff of the returning officer.
We must embrace inclusive community engagement so that we maintain unity, we maintain peace.
Security officials have assured residents that security agencies are prepared to safeguard the electoral process.
The district committee and the DPC is here, the ISO is here. We also have the regional, the RISO also is here. We are committed as a team to ensure that the peaceful.
Electoral Commission Commissioner Anthony Okello, who oversees the West Nile region, encouraged eligible voters to actively participate in the democratic process.
The Electoral Commission does not wish to see any stakeholders become a victim of avoidable violations of the law. This law will be highlighted in the chairman's speech.
The Electoral Commission also outlined activities including recruitment and training of election officials, accreditation of party agents and observers, issuance of voter allocation slips, and harmonization of campaign schedules ahead of polling day.
Feedback brought to you by. In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
Let's get into the feedback for the evening. First, the question: how can Uganda achieve Vision 2040 with the current levels of corruption and weak accountability in government? Let's look at some of the responses that you have for us this evening. Who is there? And it is Nyakojo Masanga. Enforcing zero tolerance anti-corruption strategies, digitizing government systems to reduce human error and bribery, and strengthening independent oversight bodies, empowering agencies like Inspectorate of Government to operate free from political interference, if that is anywhere near possible. The Rainmaker: if Uganda maintains the tone of Chisanja no more sleep, especially with Balaam's approach, our chance of attaining Vision 2040 are increased. That's a good one there. Who else is there? For starters, is that all? I guess that's just about it for the evening.
More to come, brought to you by
Global Paint. Oh, for the seating. For us, we use Global Mat.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Winnie Byanyima has spoken about the concerns she has over the health of her hubby, who is also a retired Colonel, Dr. Kiza Kifefe Besigye. That story is coming in the next segment. For now, NBS Live at 9 and its anchor take a very brief break.
Before the medal, before the success, there are mornings no one sees, days you carry alone, days the doors won't stay open, days you need more than you have, fighting for something bigger than yourself. In those moments, it is the people that show up for us. A hand, a loan, a door that stays open. A silent push to get you moving again. The ones you don't see fighting for you while you're fighting for yourself. That's what it means to have someone on your side. I&M Bank, on your side.
leader. Are you ready for the biggest honey show in Africa? This August, Tunado welcomes the world to the 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Exhibition featuring honey show, apiculture, learning sessions, and business networking opportunities under the theme Beekeeping for Business and Livelihoods. Come join apiculture leaders, researchers, processors, investors, and food systems practitioners from across Africa and beyond. Come and be part of this historic gathering from the 25th to the 28th of August 2026 at Hotel Africana, Kampala. The 4th Africa Apimondia Symposium and Honey Show is organized by Tunado in partnership with Come, Network, Learn, Grow.
Hello, Mr. Mukasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
That is right. How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
No. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global Paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes humidity.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Uganda is moving forward. And at the heart of that movement is the most extensive fiber network in East Africa, with more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber and over 5,000 telecom mast sites. Soliton Telmec is the backbone that enables Uganda's telecom and digital infrastructure, connecting government services, businesses, homes, universities, hospitals, banks, villages, and telecom masts. We don't just build networks, we maintain and commercialize critical infrastructure that supports national development. East Africa's leading fiber company, connecting Uganda with the most capacity. Soliton Telmec, building networks for life.
School feeding programs are not just about food. They are about education, health, and equality. Every child deserves to learn without hunger. That is why our school and leaders should make school feeding a priority.
Well-fed children are more attentive and perform better in school. As a parent, it is your duty to ensure your child has access to school meals. Together, we can end child hunger and malnutrition by ensuring every child has school meals. This message is brought to you by World Vision Uganda.
We do stories nobody else does and can do. So let's get to a biggie, if you want, a big one. Now, it is the officials from the National Medical Stores, that have attributed the bulk of the expiry of medicines highlighted in the Auditor General's report to changing disease patterns, COVID-19 pandemic, supplies, and shifts in the treatment guidelines by the World Health Organization for diseases such as HIV and tuberculosis. Now, whilst appearing before the Parliament's Account Parliament's Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, the National Medical Stores, was tasked to explain exactly why medical supplies worth just 8 billion had expired in their stores and why 3 billion was used on the destruction. Joining us now on NBS Live at 9 is the General Manager of the National Medical Stores, Mr. Moses Kamabari, to shed more light on the matter. Mr. Kamabari, thank you so much for joining us. Now, for the layperson hearing, once you start talking billions, it's billions. So how do we end up here?
Well, I'd like to break it down for the listeners and the viewers. That if you look at the Auditor General's report, it starts by talking about stock. But later in the report, I think it was an oversight by them to start concentrating on medicines. NMS stocks medicines and health supplies, which, yes, complement the work that the medicines do. So when you look at the 8 billion that they are talking about, more than 90% of that are actually health supplies. They are not medicines. So yes, we had that March stock of 8 billion expiring in our warehouse because of the fact that not everything that was brought in our stores could be used before it expired. Most of it is actually the COVID-19 PPEs, or personal protective equipment, the masks, the COVID test kits, and lab reagents and other things. Yes, you also have the medicines, which are a result of change in treatment guidelines as a result of the guidance by WHO and later adoption by the Ministry of Health. That one is there. But majority of the things of the 8 billion that actually expired were the things that could not be used because of the changes, not only in the treatment guidelines, but also because COVID is not with us. So if we wanted to use those PPEs, if we wanted to use some of those lab reagents, we would have to pray
that COVID
stays so that they can be used.
So we should thank God that they're actually unused, because that's a sign we never needed to use them. And now let me ask.
Yes.
It's just like running a supermarket where you have to assume that a certain amount of products will be used by my clients.
Yes.
And then if you don't stock them, then they will come to the shop and they're not there, then there's a problem. Then you stock them and they don't come. So it's a delicate balance of how many people will get malaria using the statistics. Then you make campaigns and then the numbers of people getting malaria fall down and then you have the medicines. It's a difficult one, isn't it? You are between a rock and a hard place.
It is.
And how difficult is that to explain to people hearing 8 billion? And has that figure come down historically?
Yes, it has. It has. In terms of percentage, the acceptable percentage of expiry of medicines and health supplies in any given store or warehouse is they give a maximum of 5%. Meaning that the value of the items that expired as a percentage of the value of the items that were churned out of that warehouse in a given period, in which case for national medical stores is a given financial year, should not be more than 5%. Meaning this is something that cannot be avoided anywhere in the world. So Ugandans should not be alarmed. They should know that we've been doing our work. It has been falling from about more than 30% many years ago. It has come falling. And the one that we are talking about now for that financial year, which was audited by the Office of Auditor General, is actually 0.51%.
So you should be given an honorary medal?
Yes. Not many warehouses in the world, not just in East Africa, not on the continent of Africa, in the world can achieve that 0.51%.
So people are coming here to benchmark?
They do.
Where's Kenya, for instance?
Kenya, the statistics that we have, I was reading the article by their Minister of Health. They were talking about 32% of the expiries. We are at 0.51%.
Context is a very interesting thing. Now, there are also Ugandans saying destroying medicine costs 3 billion, like 3 billion. Yeah. Explain to us why that cost and And I mean, can't you construct your own incinerator and, you know?
No, we also want to break that down. When you look at the 3.5 billion that the report talks about, it can actually be broken down. It is actually, for the medicine incineration or destruction, it was about 900 million Uganda shillings. The bulk of that money, which is more than 2 billion, was to take care of the obsolete vaccine cold chain equipment. Gavi and the Ministry of Health decided to collect all the cold chain equipment, that is the vaccines, fridges and other equipment that were all over the country, and they were replacing them with the new ones which are solar powered. They were removing the ones which were run on electricity. They were removing others which were run on liquefied petroleum gas, the LPG, and they are replacing them with solar fridges, powered fridges. And that is the case now everywhere in the country, whether it is private, not for profit, whether it's government, whether it is the private sector, these things were replaced. And it is NMS that was given the responsibility to collect all of them and have them safely disposed of. And Gavi gave us the 2 billion to help the government of Uganda collect them and incinerate them. So the 3.5 is not the money that was used to incinerate these medicines and health supplies that we're talking about. It is money that was used to incinerate much more than that, and things which are not related at all to medicine that actually got expired, or the health supplies that got expired.
And finally, is it the folly of you scientists with explanations that we ended up with a molehill becoming a mountain or a storm boiling out in a teacup?
No, it is the people who misinterpreted the figures that were given to them, and they used the wrong words. For them, stock and medicine are the same things. For us, we break it down. It is the stock that NMS has is beyond medicines. Actually, the biggest stock is the health supplies. It's not the medicines. Okay. So Ugandans should rest assured that we are responsible people as NMS. We will not shortchange them. We know what we are doing, and we have them on mind every day that we plan, that we think about them. And we will not in any way let them down.
Moses, go very easy on MPs because they watch NBS Live at 9. The next time you are before them, they could use your words against you. But
no problem. I told them the same thing.
Thank you much, Moses Kamabari, who is at the top of the National Medical Stores. It's just context. I mean, that explanation is very easy to understand. I mean, we should be handing medals here, isn't it? Away from that, concern over Dr. Kizza Besigye's health continues to grow after his wife, Winnie Byanyima, revealed that he remains in a frail condition and is still unable to speak or write following his collapse in court. As the family focuses on his recovery, Byanyima is also calling for respect for the rule of law, insisting that Besigye is entitled to proper medical care, a fair hearing, and the same constitutional rights guaranteed to every Ugandan.
Dr. Kizza Besigye remains hospitalized at Mulago National Referral Hospital after collapsing during a court appearance last week, an incident that raised fresh concern over his health and reignited debate over his treatment while in detention. After visiting him in hospital, his wife, Winnie Byanyima, described Besigye as still too weak to speak, write, or properly use his hands, saying he could only communicate by shaking his head.
I found him lying there asleep, but he's very drained. He looked very weak. He remained asleep for a long time. When he could open his eyes, he still cannot talk. He cannot talk. He just shakes his head and shakes his hands. He's not able to write. I tried to ask him to write a note to me, but his hands are not stable. He cannot write either.
Beyond his health, Byanyima used the visit to renew her call for respect for the rule of law. She said Besigye is entitled to proper medical care, a fair hearing before an independent court, and every right guaranteed under Uganda's constitution, stressing that these protections belong to every Ugandan regardless of political affiliation.
He has the right to proper medical care. He has the right to a fair hearing in an independent and impartial court. These are not privileges. They are rights, and they are rights for every Ugandan, including Kizza Besigye.
She also appealed to the public not to become indifferent when lives are at risk, arguing that the true test of national institutions is how they treat those without power, not those in authority.
I'm not asking anyone to bend the law. I'm simply asking that the Constitution of Uganda is respected and is applied fairly and equally to Dr. Kizza Besigye.
Fighting back emotions, Byanyima maintained that our appeal is not about politics, but about protecting life, defending constitutional rights, and ensuring equal justice for all Ugandans.
Still on Dr. Besigye, Forum for Democratic Change has made an urgent appeal to President Yoweri Museveni to grant executive clemency and release retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and other detained opposition politicians. FDC's Deputy Vice President for Western Uganda, Robert Centenary, cited Dr. Besigye's deteriorating health condition in custody and warned he does face serious risk. He also reminded the president of Besigye's role as a bushwalk doctor, arguing that on humanitarian grounds alone he should be freed. And it is still the same party further condemning what it called legal blockages, including restricted access to lawyers, and raised concern over similar treatment for legal figures such as Martha Karua Council and Arias Lukwago.
If for sure government is confident that it has overwhelming evidence that is implicating to Dr. Besigye, why don't they allow him to be fully represented by a lawyer of his own choice? Why should they impose legal representation upon him? It's so unfortunate that the trial is ongoing and the state cannot even halt it, even when doctor is in a critical condition. We shall continue praying for him, and we shall continue appealing to other voices, the religious leaders, the cultural institutions, the citizens, civil society, to add your voice for the freedom of these people who are politically incarcerated.
Let's get into matters health, where health leaders have called on countries that imposed travel restrictions on Uganda during the Ebola outbreak to lift those particular ones, arguing that such measures are not backed by any scientific evidence. Instead, they said the priority should be on supporting the Democratic Republic of Congo to contain the ongoing outbreak, whilst strengthening regional surveillance and cross-border cooperation.
The World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa, Professor Mohamed Yacoub Janabi, has called on countries that imposed travel restrictions on Uganda during the Ebola outbreak to lift them, saying such measures are not supported by science and do little to stop the spread of the disease. He says the focus should instead be on strengthening surveillance, early detection and cross-border collaboration, noting that international health regulations do not recommend border closures as a means of controlling Ebola outbreaks.
International health regulation does not state anywhere that if you close the borders or you travel restriction has helped. And we don't have to look far. Let's just remember COVID-19, which finished, the pandemic ended recently. How much did travel restriction controlled the pandemic?
The Director General of Africa's CDC says Uganda's successful containment of an Ebola outbreak in the capital city should be recognized as a public health achievement rather than a reason for continued restrictions. He says African countries and the international community should instead show solidarity by supporting the response in the DRC, warning against applying double standards in responding to disease outbreaks across different regions.
The US didn't apply travel restriction to France because they have also a case in France. Because France is under outbreak. We don't need double standards.
Uganda officially declared the Ebola outbreak over on 28th July after completing the required monitoring period without recording any new infection or transmission. However, health authorities caution that the region remains at risk as the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo continues to battle the disease. To support the response, the Minister of Health, Dr. Chris Wariomunsi, says Uganda has deployed 58 health workers to the DRC and established Ebola treatment and response facilities to help contain the outbreak before it spreads further.
Kasenyi, the other side of Ntoroko, Erekarbat. So that's where our teams are. So our teams are in Congo supporting our counterparts there to see that the outbreak can be contained.
Malayuni Pride Bank. It is so easy. You just have to maintain a minimum monthly balance of 100K and we'll give you health insurance for free. The bigger the balance, the bigger the benefits. Visit a nearby branch or call 0800 333 999 to learn more.
Pride Bank. Your growth is our pride.
There is a new era of elegance and it begins at your event. At Pero Events, we have upgraded with fresh, modern, stylish event pieces designed to transform any space into a masterpiece. From luxury tents to elegant furniture to premium mobile washrooms, hand wash stations, lounge sets, parasols, wooden chairs, modern chair set, banquet setup. Peno Events. Safe, reliable, stylish. Book now.
You wanna make tasty food and feel you wanna do that doesn't steal Candaling and no ya night Sika de buto one night Nailo akro ya Sika de buto one night
Cook better, sell better with modern healthy cholesterol-free cooking oil and modern non-sticky wheat flour. Modern Yenyabo.
Everybody come alive, that's the light. Burn it up. On the light, don't stop. Run sorry marathon to the world right now. Everybody come alive.
Own the light at the 5th edition of the Tescalite Mountain Sorry Marathon, August 22nd, Kasese. Register for 5, 10, 21 or 42 kilometers at 60K. Tescalite. Own the light. Open one. You'll know.
You need a bigger space to grow your business.
You need to be ready for any season.
We need to stop here before we roll.
You need faster checkouts for these busy days.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
Ready to invest at the Kabaliga Petro Best Industrial Park? Booking your site visit is simple. Step 1. Visit kip.unok.com and click Create Account. Enter your company details and your authorized representative's information, then submit. Your login credentials will be sent to your email. Step 2. Return to the portal and sign in. Step 3. Click Book Site Visit. Select your zone, describe your business and land requirements, then submit your request. You will receive a confirmation with your schedule shared by 29th July 2026. Don't get stuck. Our team is with you every step of the way. Book by 30th July 2026. Site visits commence by 11th to 25th of August. For support, contact support.kip@unok.com today. Invest in KIP. Invest in Uganda. Kabaliga Petro Best Industrial Park, a project by the Ugandan National Oil Company, UNOC.
In today's world, opportunity is digital. Is your education keeping pace? At Cavendish University, Uganda, we don't just use technology, we're built around it. Our state-of-the-art digital portal and our world-class public health laboratories are your launchpad. Because here, we focus on one outcome, your success. We equip you with in-demand digital skills, critical thinking, and real-world experience. We don't just award degrees, we prepare you for gainful employment and entrepreneurship globally. Enroll with Cavendish University, Uganda this semester. Registration is ongoing. Cavendish University, Uganda. Your success begins here.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
Let's go to the Ministry of Works, where the Minister for Works and Transport, Fred Byamukama, has given Chong Ngokikping International Construction Company July 2027 to complete the shillings 220 billion 21-kilometer Charlie Wajira Chira Kasangati Matuga Road, which has stalled for 2 years. Fred Byamukama directed his ministry to investigate double standards raised by residents in terms of compensation to the project-affected persons.
The Minister for Works and Transport, Fred Byamukama, has continued with his nationwide tour to assess delayed government projects. The inspection comes as the government moves to address challenges in the country's road transport sector.
We've done 40%. This project was at 222 billion. They have paid them 138 billion. There's no value for money.
We have some challenge, especially on land acquisition.
Today, Byamukama inspected the construction of the 21-kilometer Charlie Wajela Kira Kasangati Matuga Road, which was stalled for 2 years. During the field site visit, Minister Byamukama, together with local leaders, faulted the contractor Chico for applying double standards in compensation, which has delayed completion of the 21-kilometer road project.
Our own staff, they did a mistake. They were picking houses they want to pay. It is being alleged these people of the former UNRA owned the houses, so they wanted to pay for their own houses.
That in land acquisition, we work with the road development team. We would ask them, where has the contractor prioritized to do work?
The Works Minister has now issued timelines to the contractor Chico to speed up the project, which commenced in 2022.
The contractor has an excuse.
Other concerns include heavy dust and incomplete drainage channels, and coupled with the occupation of wetlands by some individuals.
Compensated a house in a wetland. He was not educated about the dangers of wetland. He has built again a very good house, moreover with Tarazo, again in the wetland.
Ugandans are very interesting. The Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises on Monday began a one-week oversight visit in Mombasa, Kenya to assess properties owned by Uganda Property Holdings, led by the committee chairperson Mwadanku Nyingi. The MPs expressed concern over a tenant at the port who has not paid rent since 2022. The outstanding arrears now stand at 4 billion. The committee was further alarmed to find that despite the eviction notice being issued to the tenant, the permanent secretary to the Ministry of Finance wrote to waive the debt under the directive said to be from the president. Legislators also observed that the 4 acres of Uganda's land in Mombasa remain underdeveloped.
As a COSASE, first of all, to conduct an oversight on Uganda Property Holdings. Uganda Property Holding owns and manages properties on behalf of government of Uganda. We have learned they have properties in Mombasa here in Kenya, and also properties in Uganda back home, and also some properties in the UK. From the observations of the Auditor General in the 2024-2025 report, we identified a concerning reoccurrence of unresolved rental areas. Where we are is a port which accrued rental areas payable by the tenant. But from the Auditor General's report and from the response we have so far received from Uganda Property Holding, there is a position that the head of state, the president in Uganda, advised that the said rental areas be waived. Unfortunately, these rental areas has reoccurred since 2022 in the audited reports of Uganda Property Holdings. Now, from their response, they have briefed us that they consulted the Solicitor General, which advice has laid, and they received it in July of this year, alluding to the fact that whereas there is a waiver from the head of state, such a waiver must be processed by Parliament. And this, the amount in issue is 4 billion Uganda shilling, 4 billion, approximately 4 billion. Also concerned at the level of repairs and the condition of some of these warehouses. We want to interrogate further and find out whether it is a question of money to repair and refurnish these warehouses, and then we shall make appropriate recommendation. Within the observations of the Auditor General, we also realized that the Auditor General cites some particular acres of land, around 4 acres, which are underdeveloped, or if rented out, they will generate more profits and more income, both to Uganda Property Holdings and also to the government of Uganda.
MTN Uganda has launched the 2026 edition of the annual 21 Days of Yellow Care campaign, and this is definitely a huge one, committing employee, volunteers, digital technology and infrastructure support to improve maternal and newborn health care in underserved communities across the country. The campaign will run until August 21st under the theme Expand Equitable Health Care for Every Community.
Uganda loses an estimated 16 mothers every day with delays in accessing emergency obstetric care at health center fours cited as the leading cause. Many health center fours lack doctors, functioning theatres and blood banks. But in an effort to bridge service gaps, MTN Uganda has launched the 21-day Yellow Care campaign. The State Minister for Primary Health Care, Dr. Charles Ayume, says the government plans to upgrade health center fours to bring emergency maternal care close to mothers in hard-to-reach areas, calling them the first point of surgical care.
Our focus should not be so much on the hospitals. Our focus should be on the health center fours. Have you ever wondered how do mothers in Buvuma, in Namayingo, in Mayuge, in Kalangala, where do they deliver from?
According to the minister, 86% of mothers in Uganda now deliver in health facilities, while 14% still deliver at home or in the hands of traditional birth attendants. He says that changing community attitudes remains one of the biggest obstacles to eliminating preventable maternal deaths.
As our national data will tell you, is that 86% of the mothers deliver in health facilities, meaning there is a 14% that still does it the traditional way. They go to traditional birth attendants, or they just deliver from home.
MTN Uganda says this year's campaign will support maternal and newborn health care through community health camps, health worker training, digital health solutions, and improvements to health infrastructure.
But for this year, we decided to focus on health because the theme that we're running as Uganda is towards health. But for the next 21 days, you're going to see us going to these health centers, equipping them with things that they might be lacking or they need to use in the health centers to ensure that the societies that they are serving are ably served.
The initiative will upgrade 4 health center 4s in Bunyangabu, Gomba, Luka, and Amdat districts. According to the Ministry of Health, Uganda's maternal mortality ratio has dropped from 336 to 189 per 100,000 live births in 10 years, but remains above the SDG target of 70.
Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here, nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort, and moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
MTN voice bundle. Ay. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and multi-flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
Experience the ultimate in bathing luxury with Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap. Choose from a variety of refreshing types, including menthol, antibacterial, ice cool, blueberry, coconut, and raspberry. Each one promises an upper-world, refreshing feel that redefines your experience with bathing. Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap, the ultimate refreshing feel. Distributed by Chopper General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikoba, Kampala. You can find Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap in shops and supermarkets nearby.
And congratulations again and again and again. You have not seen yet. There is the detail of this place. Yes. So we want to make sure that you have a good view of the swimming pool. Now this is for your parents. close parents, real parents, uncle, auntie, 1, 2. This one we specifically set for relatives that speak a lot. And this one is for Richard.
I'm no longer with Richard. I'm with Augustine now.
No, still Augustine will sit there. They will collaborate because one needs the other.
Now over to Kenya, where a member of parliament, John Kaguchia, was arrested Monday morning following an overnight standoff outside the Royal Media Services studios in Nairobi. The lawmaker was taken into custody by DCI detectives over alleged insightful remarks made during a weekend rally where he reportedly warned residents against supporting President William Ruto in the 2027 general election. Brian Amwai reports that the arrest has sparked fury, political debate and triggered a protest in his constituency.
The dramatic morning arrest of Mukurweini MP John Kaguchia outside the Royal Media Services studios marks a sharp escalation in the state's crackdown on politically sensitive rhetoric. Kaguchia, who spent the night inside the media house after claiming heavily armed detectives had surrounded the premises, is under probe for controversial statements delivered during a political gathering in Kieni, Nyeri County. Law enforcement sources indicate that the lawmaker is being questioned over remarks flagged for bordering on incitement and hate speech ahead of future electoral cycles. Kaguchia reportedly warned residents against supporting President William Ruto in 2027 general election, saying that action will be taken on those who support the head of state in the region. His legal team, however, maintains that the MP statements were taken out of context.
Is that Honorable Kaguchia is being accused of having breached the election offense. That is the ridiculous proposed charge as entered in the occurrence book. So then you might want to ask yourself, which election is this? When was the election done? Is Mr. William Ruto, the outgoing president, having a premonition of the 2027 election?
While government allies maintain that law enforcement is simply acting to preserve national cohesion and check divisive politics, opposition figures frame the arrest as selective enforcement designed to tame vocal political critics.
An act of bad faith. Justice must cut across to all. We have insisted for all these utterances. We want Asad Omari in court. We want Honorable Duale also in court.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua have condemned the arrest, terming the action as selective administration of justice. They have accused the government of raining on opposition politicians while letting their own allies go scot-free for the same crimes. Kaguchia's arrest comes during a period of heightened political activity, with leaders increasingly using public rallies and broadcast platforms to mobilize support. While supporters argue that politicians must be allowed to express their views freely, critics insist that the inflammatory rhetoric risks fueling ethnic and political divisions. In his Mukurweini constituency, angry supporters took to the streets, lighting bonfires and demanding the immediate release of their lawmaker. The MP remains in police custody and is expected to be arraigned in court as investigations continue.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
The government agricultural mechanization program in northern Uganda is facing growing criticism as many of the working tractors distributed to farmers have broken down, leaving beneficiaries struggling to access repair services and spare parts. Leaders and farmers say the initiative, which was intended to boost agricultural productivity and commercial farming, is being undermined by inadequate technical support and poor maintenance systems, as Isaac Otwi reports.
3 years after the government distributed working tractors to sub-counties across northern Uganda to improve agricultural production, many of the machines are no longer operational. In Dokolo district, local officials say only a handful of 14 tractors supplied to the sub-counties are still working.
The working tractors are with the farmers, are with the beneficiaries now. They don't know where to take them. They don't know what to do with them now. They are just like a white elephant.
Officials blame the breakdowns on unsuitable machine capacity, lack of trained technicians, and limited access to spare parts. For instance, in Odwali sub-county in Otuke district, leaders say the cost of repairs has become a burden for farmer groups managing the equipment.
Our soils in Idokolo are heavy soils. They are very heavy, and the power or the strength of these tractors cannot maneuver them well. They get stuck.
The spares, first of all, it easily get broken down. So once it is broken down, the community or the groups that are given these unworking tractors may not be in a position to go and acquire it.
Concerns have also been raised over the state of the Regional Agriculture Mechanization Center at Olwenyi, rice irrigation scheme in Dokolo district. The Agwata-based facility was intended to serve the entire Lango sub-region by housing heavy earth-moving equipment, mobile maintenance trucks, and tractors, and reducing the cost of access to machines by 60% for farmers. But agriculture stakeholders say the facility, launched in July 2020, has fallen short of expectations due to inadequate staffing and maintenance infrastructure.
The stores don't have the farm equipment that the government had intended to put in place.
However, some districts report gradual progress in restoring the tractors. In Alabitong district, local leaders say repair efforts are underway, with about half of the district's tractors already returned to service.
But at the time, these working tractors were being brought. The operators were not trained, and that made it very challenging.
Stakeholders are now calling on the Ministry of Agriculture to establish repair workshops, train more operators and mechanics, and ensure a sustainable maintenance system before rolling out additional machinery.
We are appealing to the suppliers, the ministry, to at least train some people on how to repair these working tractors.
The government and private developers are pushing for planned construction to unlock Uganda's economic growth. Baila Global Real Estate, alongside key land and urban development agencies, met to explore how proper planning, adherence to building codes, and regulated land use can deliver safer, more suitable cities. Stakeholders say that moving away from haphazard development to structured housing and infrastructure projects is critical in improving livelihood.
More than 2.4 million Ugandan households are living without decent housing, a crisis the Minister of Lands, Judith Nabakova, says is worsened by poor project planning and land wrangles. Addressing the Law and Real Estate Conference, Nabakova noted that unclear land ownership and weak enforcement of building standards continue to lock millions out of safe and affordable homes. Nabakova is now calling for stronger laws and better regulation to drive planned, sustainable real estate development and bridge the country's huge housing gap.
And we are also looking at models like rent to own, but rent to own which is affordable, and actually we have a difference between affordable and low cost. Because what is affordable to me may not be affordable to you, but then we need to look at the low cost housing. For the Lamukunyangola, for some of our low income earners, then others can look at affordable. And affordability is relative.
She is also calling for intensified efforts to combat land title fraud and illegal land grabbing, describing them as major obstacles to the country's development agenda.
As lawyers, developers, managers, and regulators, our duty is very clear. We must champion due diligence. We must support the formalization and digitization of our land registries, but we are also going to digitize our real estates. our real estate sector, because we need an information system for housing and real estate.
As part of efforts to curb these land fraud cases, Baylor Global Real Estate says it aims to reduce accidents caused by substandard buildings and make home ownership more accessible to Ugandans through affordable and flexible housing financing arrangements.
So we are here to have conversations about policy, professionalism under different professions, legal, judicial officers, surveyors, valuers, architects, engineers, among others. So we are here to learn, relearn and unlearn about us, the industry and our daily life and things that affect us in the daily.
The government is, however, committed to strengthening the legal and institutional framework governing land and real estate to promote sustainable urban development and improve the quality of life for all Ugandans.
Hey travelers, are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free of fire, free of fire, free of
fire. Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient, and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
We've come to the end of this edition of NBS Live at 9. And as an old man, I'd like to leave you with this. Mental health is on the rise. And this is the more reason why you should do you. Use a phone you can afford. Live in an area you can afford. If you do not have a backside and you can't afford BBL, live the way you can. Keeping up with the Joneses won't take you nowhere. The people forcing you to try to change your life are themselves doing extremely badly. I know that from experience. Good night.